So today's class, we are going to emphasize more on this place that when we become so familiar with it. And hi, Maria. Hi, Sage. The importance of that you keep on yourself in the space of your being expanding. Now, I'll tell why common mistake that people do in the practice that they don't like the expansion because they might be in a job that they kind of know in and out. So therefore, they don't have to use the space of the creative mind, creative ways of doing that work. So they kind of become the same habitual pattern. Now, the part of this is quite contraction because your growth stopped that. If you don't have that day-to-day challenge and the creativity, how am I going to work it out? Suddenly the life becomes contraction. And when life becomes contraction, the part is the limitation is in a health way also. It start become shrinking. It start before your time and age, it becomes quite depleting, that energy. So then there is a sickness, then there is a limitation in your connection and relationships to others, not as a separation. So this is very important that your life constantly is meant to be growing, and life is in the moment. And now, when I was discussing this to plan the logic of to do the class, it's not that I had a wonderful past, a wonderful memory about it. If you say that about yourself and constantly, every moment that you're experiencing in this life is not going to give you that life, what you're having is you're talking about death. You're talking about recomposting the same death again and again and again and again, and it's only going to get stink and it's only going to get worse. But I'm not saying the past experiences are not important, but they are the fertilizer, they are the compost for you to develop into a different place where your relationship are not fighting, but they have to have that a gentleness of a challenge that you are supposed to grow. You go and meet your elders, or whatever the teachers that you have been choosing. The conversation should be challenged to come out from your repetitiveness, the repetition of the same word, same place. Imagine that. That's why people, when they are restricted in these places, they just go on a holiday and they think, oh, I feel great about it. But it's only very limited in that place because your mind, if it is not exercised into the space of expansion, and your heart is not beating the expansion, excitement of life, you suddenly feel that this limitation comes into a place that your attraction is going to hold you. And that holding is on a universal level. There is no purpose in your life. You're running on a loop. You're running on a loop, um, like a boat without a captain. The motor propels and it just goes on a circle. And you say that is life. So today is you have to find where you are propelling in this water and navigating the same cycle, and how to very gently through the practice recognizing these areas and bring some growth, bring some gentle openness into those areas so that you're still growing to the end. Your muscle doesn't know your time and age. Your cells doesn't know. But if your mind is in a loop, they will just make it deteriorate because there's no purpose in it. There is no creativity. That's why it's very important that you to take an art class, a dance class, a pottery class. Not in that level. What I'm trying to say is all your healing comes in a place that you're failing to look at. But you might have success and say, but I'm successful. So you're just numbing the fact that where you need to work on. So it is very important today where I'm going to pinpoint those things. It might not come as a pleasant feeling, but it is not meant to be pleasant. It's meant to be honest and true, and it allows you to elevate. And this goes to everyone who is going to watch these classes to my extent of their deeper level of the things that they need to expand, not holding the success, holding the fear, holding the safety, holding all these things. So wherever you are at, now take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, and very gently opening up your chest and elevating the space of the heart. And for the first time, feeling it. And allow the muscle that is restricted by the mind to be open. And very gently allow that space of creativity to come in. So I'll move the camera towards Darren. Shoulders very gently roll back. Now very gently arms raise onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Very gently push that elbows onto the side and allow that armpits to be open. The creation of the armpits is open. Now feel that elbows are not restricting you into any space. Now when you gently take a deep breath out and twist the spine to the right side, stomach very gently pulling in. Back into the center, change the formation of the legs. Take a deep breath in, arms raised onto the crown, interlacing the fingers. Very gently pushing out that where everyone has come into identity, whether it's a nationalism, whether it's a religion, whether it's a male, whether it's this or that. And very gently releasing that tension, that body is holding the idea of the mind, twisting the spine to the left from the out breath. Now breathing in back into the center, arms raised onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up, opening up. You're not holding the security anymore. You're not holding the finance as your growth, your relationship, that where you have a control. Allow that be expand. Palms onto the namaskar position. Very gently relax the arms, walk the palms into the front. Now you can bring the locks of your feet into the sukhasana so they are not crossing the ankles. And very gently allow that body, the form, giving a break from the restriction, giving a break from the old forms. Your body takes and hunch into the space of suffering before your time. If you're holding these old patterns, because what ceases is the old way of doing things do not open you. It blocks you further and further. So release all these blockages in the spine. Allow the palms to face up. Allow this class to be normally outside of your normal mindset, outside of your limitation, restriction, suffocation. Don't define yourself to the limitation of the security. Now, are you with me so far? Now take a deep breath in very gently, coming back, shoulders relaxed, chest open. Now take this very moment, the expansion of yourself. You're realizing a different part of the body. You're realizing a different part of the mindset. Now very gently bringing that left leg into the back, releasing the resistance from the right hip, extension that left hip right into the back. And releasing that stagnation. You might feel like you're very good at your work. Is that because you are securing that space? Or you're longing into that freshness, but not taking, but your fear of not challenging things that you really did want to do before you found the security of your job. If a flowing river gets stagnation, it's a puddle. It smells. It doesn't have life. It's just waiting to be dry out, isn't it? Now releasing the tension of your mind, holding these patterns that you don't want to exercise into the space of the unknown. Now very gently bringing those palms back to yourself, shoulders relax. Your body is in the space of the growth and the expansion. Your breath is in that. There is no hold. So allow your breath to be alive, but it's constantly dying into the past. And it is the freshness of the moment. Can you really experience an old breath? But you're experiencing all your old thoughts as alive. Is that a possibility? Into a plank. And bring that inner state into the frequency of the expansion in that moment. Lift me onto the floor. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Clench and unclench. See any stagnation of the ego, of your mind, holding this body, and then you might be blaming arthritis, blaming this, blaming that. Keep this your primary frequency. Right arm reaching into the back, touch the floor. Take a deep breath in, left arm reaching up, up. Now observe your thoughts that you are again being pushed into the corner, pushed into the limitation of the security, limitation of your funds. If reaching into the back and touch the floor. Drop both knees, completely breathe out into a cat. Anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Tongue roll up onto the upper palate, breathing in into the space of the third more and more. Now ask yourself the inquiry. Breathe out. Am I contributing something into the life, or I'm contributing into the thoughts? Breathing in, tongue roll up, energy gaze onto the third eye. Breathe out. neutral spine. Give a good rotation to the hips, digestion, and release this restriction of all your thoughts are holding in the space of security. Onto the other side. Take a deep breath in. Push the hips into the front. Push the hips into the back. And very gently, palms facing up. And just observe that the whole space. You're trying not to force in your definition about things that everyone has to believe it. And embrace the person you have the difficulty also as a person of new. So you're not looking at the person from the past, person from your definition, the situation from your level of restrictions, but you're opening up, expanding. That's what happens when you first fall in love. There is no control of the person. There is no control of the situation. Trust this space of the realization. Palms facing down, rolling and bringing the chest. Keep the bum up for a while so that you're activating that energy of the spine, the frequency of the breath, feeling in the throat, the spine. Now drop the belly, soften the hips. Now breathing in into a gentle cobra. Now the liberation is a constant movement. It is not the idea. People don't know their luxury level of a fantasy. They are still living in prisons. So the movement and the freedom is in the very moment. You are uninterrupted by your past, uninterrupted your future. There's expansion. Overlook into the right side, back to the center. Overlook into the left side. Now back into the center. Now very gently, third eye, relax on the fist. Now very gently observe into the relations of the expansion as you're learning today. Just experience through the expansion. Your body, your breath. Observe the thoughts are interfering into the limitation from your past. Do not, as I always say, come into the science part of your mind, the logic part of in your mind. Back into the center, bringing those palms where the elbows are, breathing in into a gentle up face. Just elevate the posture, expand through that space of the understanding, expand through the changing of the energy. And breathe out. So you can sense onto the down face the magnificent beauty that briefly expand you into the space of the cosmos. Mind doesn't like to keep it on that space, so it will come into the limitation. Now left foot into the front onto the pigeon pose. Shoulders roll back, opening up the chest. Take a deep breath in, drop the elbows, walk your palms into the front. So now, if we don't have this practice constantly, you will only see people, situation, your relationship with your own ideas, with your own memories. Living person does not live in the past. Your mind must be in a total place of a boredom, that it likes to see everything in relation to the logic. Now, there is nothing else than the humanity can evolve if everybody is like this. So very gently bring in that expansion into the communication skills, relationship skills. Take a deep breath in and coming back, shoulders roll back. The lobster breaking its all boundaries, and the eagle breaks its all boundaries and the body to expand, to expand. But human likes to look youthful and young and in their old self. Never compromise on the expansion. That's what is. Never want to work on where you don't want to be challenged. When there is a challenge happen, you blame the traffic, you blame the weather, you blame the relationship, you blame the other person. Huh? You realize that. You blame when the health is not in the place of supporting your limitation, because it is a time that has given to you to wake up in a compassionate way. You need to find another explanation. Keep this in your core point as you're going to work through this class with me, learning more. We're gently coming into a stronger plan. Allow the breath to be fresh. Allow the movement to be fresh. Allow the transitioning and transformation from posture to be fresh. Breaking those old engagements of old patterns. And breathing in new engagements about life. Right knee onto the floor. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Opening up that chest, releasing the tension of the old past, the story. Left reaching into the back and touch the floor. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Opening up. Right reaching into the back, touch the floor. Drop the knee completely, breathe out into the cat. Nothing grows in this barren ground of the old security. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze. Breathe out. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto that space of the Chitakasana. You have learned from the past, but it's just a manual. But you have to grow new seeds for new fruits, new labor of love. Now, this is where you're going to bring that space of resolve into the expansion. Neutral spine, give a good rotation to the hip. Use the old manual, plant your resolve. Onto the other side. Stretch the spine into the back, knees wide apart. At the moment, you're seeing the limitation of your body and the mind. But what happens if you have planted the seeds and the expansion? You're going to have a journey with that, and you're merging into the higher version, bigger version, expansion version of you. So there is no separation here. But you can't do that expansion being in the same limitation. Holding the idea of a fruit, but want to see the fruits on a larger tree. Palm facing down, rolling and bringing the chest into the front. Get the knees together. Breathing moves into a gentle up face. Breathe out onto the down face. Now bend you one knee at a time, releasing the tension, allowing that openness. Now the thoughts of the old knee will come, thoughts of the old spine will come, thoughts of the old will come. Because mind is still there. But allow the breath to explode into the space of the restriction, expansion. Now very gently left foot into the front, arms stretch into the back, arms raise onto the crown, expanding into the Virabhadrasana. Just observe the mind interference, let it happen, but you keep expanding, you use the mind as a tool. The innocence has start becoming more. Take a mudra to represent the expansion of your new experiencing. So don't give any names, don't bring the old vocabulary, don't bring anything to share anything at this very moment, taking that mudra of expansion and being with it. Gentle arch. Back into the center, elbow onto the knee. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Right arm reaching into the front, onto the floor. Take a deep breath in and open that side of the left brain hemisphere, left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Very gently allow that stagnation, the definition, the boringness to go. Left reaching into the back, touch the floor. Stronger in the pelvic floor, exchanging the legs into a plank. Drop the knees, stretch the spine in that space of the creativity, in the space of this moment. Don't go into the same places and follow the same thing again and again, even if you're using the social media. Find new creative ways of to expand your interest, expand your growth. If you're doing it, be gently being working on that space, whether it's cooking, whether it's listening to someone is going through the same similar journeys to your journey, and having a gentle discussion through those new insights that coming up, whether it's a relationship with the person that you are with, whether it's a challenging moment with your child, and bringing that openness to understand, not going through the past sense of this or that. New insight into the space of that spirituality, the art of living, art of expansion, art of deepening. Don't allow anything to get bound into the space of the restriction. Palms facing down, rolling and bringing the chest into the front. Take a deep breath in into an up face. Breathe out towards a down face. Breathing in and right foot into the front. Breathing in arm stretch into the back. Arms raised onto the crown. Opening up into that space of the Virabhadrasana. The old place of restriction has lost the power over you. Memories have lost their muscle to squeeze you. The old story is no longer squeezing, suffocating. Take a mudra of the expansion here. A reminder into the practice. No matter what you are, where you are at. You might be in a jail and listening to this class, but still you're not in a prison. Gentle arch. Breathing in, coming back into the center. Elbow onto the knee. Left arm reaching into the front. Touch the floor. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling, opening up. Working with the breath, releasing the tension of the fears, releasing the tension of your anxiety coming and knocking first thing in the morning. Now allow this time to create this creativity into your body and into the mind, and decorate it with this. Like you're decorating a Christmas tree, right? Reaching into the back, touch the floor. Into a plank, strong on the pelvic floor. Bring your mind into the space of the interaction with the moment, interaction with the life. Drop the knees, stretch the spine, palms facing up. Every moment is opportunity, isn't it, in this level? Every moment is a new understanding. Every moment is a new self. Start not following a fashion of what other people are doing. Become your own way, because don't fall into the victim of what others want you to do. Very well educatedly, we have become victim to the old patterns. Stagnation. If a river flows into a stagnation, because if it's education, what freshness come out of that? If the wind falling into, ask yourself and inquire into this pattern of a stagnation, a security, will that wind serve the space of the humanity or the cosmos? No. It's just a harassment for people who are next to that wind, next to that stagnated river. Now, if you don't constantly explain yourself, you can understand in relation to energy, what is your energy? That's why things don't stay next to you, because it's unbearable, that energy as a frequency. I'm not asking you to have the power game of challenging egos here. I'm just asking you to just observe, where has the growth stopped? Or you're still composting the old self, but without any seeds, but you want the fruits. Palms facing down, rolling and bringing the chest into the front. Shoulders roll back. Open up the chest, breathing in into a gentle cobra. Expansion, expansion. So observe when your expansion is leaking this energy because of the information out there, because of the drama out there, because of the news out there, because of the fear out there. So that's again, observe these things. If you're leaking and getting tired by these energies, where is your leakage happens habitually? Because you might be entertaining a past fear and you want to find answers to a ghost. Is that a real reality? Not saying that the ghosts don't exist. I'm just saying it in a way of explaining something. Relax the third eye onto the floor. This time, just elbows pointing out, and see whether the traps, the loops, the limitation, where are these repeating things? And when these things are repeating, what level of excuses you're going to do? Watching the same space of the news. So this is the time to adjust yourself, not just in the posture, not just in the mind, but getting that realization. Otherwise, you will be depleted by your own story. The definition of yourself. I'm this, I'm that. So constantly your body is in a fight because you're creating a story and you're going to give opposition to the story. So you're running away instead of looking at it. And that's your fear. That's your anxiety. That is your abuse. That is the suffering. So every time there's a good moment happen in your life, you go thinking that this is not a reality, to be open, but my life is this. Expanding and learning is a vibration. People are very lucky if they have to change the routes of driving, if they have to take the routes differently, if their work is different, if their cooking paths are different. They're very lucky. There is a live moment because the experience itself is coming with new reflections. You can tie down to your story and say, this is not what I signed up for. That is the limitation. So you want growth on one side, but you also want the limitation as a protection. If you do that to a seed, will it grow to a tree? Now ask yourself that the desire to be much more larger than your present state, if it is a story, otherwise your present state might be a quite realized. What is stopping it? Is it the teacher? Is it the guru that shrink you? Is it the philosopher, or the philosophy is giving you the restrictions? Or it is constantly knocking on your door, but you say, I'm secure in my presence, so don't ask me to expand. It's quite good here. If a tree did that, you wouldn't have fruits. If the air did that, you wouldn't have air. If the sun did that, you won't have the sunlight, because they are all expanding energy. But then you say that you have the house and the bank balance so that you're okay. You're just digging your prison furthermore down. Your small boxes. So when you come into this realization, you're with me now. Expansion. Don't forget it. Keep it in the today, whole day expansion. Breathing in into up phase. There is no cell is contracting. No source of breath is contracting. No, nothing is contracting. It is totally in a place of healing, of expansion, in relationship, wealth, health, without towards a down phase. Lift up onto the knees. Bend the knees slightly. Stretch the back of the body properly. Elbows slightly pointing out. Now relax the posture. Walk those palms into the feet. Now very gently release the tension of the head. Up and down, side to side, and allow that vibrational frequency without interruption coming to the spine, coming to, because remember, we become the story through the intellect part of the mind. Before the story, it is the energy. Now bend the knees, sitting deeper. This is a great way to expansion, that constipation, even on the digestion. The mind is constipated. And this is a great time for the body to expand in the energy level. Now, once you come into this place, take a deep breath in the Namaskar Mudra, and look at the nature of things. Everything is an outward expansion of things. You are a grown up, but before that, you were the egg, you were the sperm. So why stopping here? Because it's comfortable now. The bum onto the floor. Stretch the legs into the front. Take those legs in the space of that expansion, that you're going to go and take that journey. You're releasing any place of suffer, because you're suffering because you're holding the importance of your story and the restriction. And you're constantly telling the universe, give me a lot of money, but I don't want to grow. It does not happen like that. It shouldn't end up having a lot of money, because it's not an escape. I have seen people with a lot of money but no purpose. In my life, I have experienced a lot of money and no purpose. You have to build in your core that vibration, and constantly it has to be a reminder of your growth. Now, very gently, you come into a seating posture. There can't be any postures or any breath or any movement after this level of realization. And I want you to sit without the contraction. There is no contraction in the breath. There is no contraction. Thoughts are no problem, but when it is contracted, was to go on a loophole, it's no longer creativity. It is stagnation, and it is opposite to life. Now you're doing very good in this stage about the space of the yoga. But now what I want you to do is when you meet the next person, next conversation, next word, see whether you're going to hold that into the restriction or to the expansion. Are you going to hold into the suffering and your story or to the expansion? Are you going to hold it into the all composed being or you're opening up to the growth? So if your practice is giving you a secure ground, then the practice is no longer giving you to be the expansion of yourself. So don't come into meditation and yoga just to maintain a body or maintain a mind. The biggest mistake that people are doing, and people know how to use this mistake against you. Best way to keep people in the prison is telling them that they are not in a prison. So tell them that they're in a bedroom and they are having their security and you're protecting them from whatever the outside world is going to do that. That's the best way to keep people in prison. Because it stops your growth. A liberated person cannot be just even kept in a human body because it's an explosion of energy. It's a mysterious explanation. It constantly becomes the larger version of itself through the words, through their actions, through their behaviors. It's ripened. It's fragrant. Your intelligence, when it comes into this realization, the wisdom start oozing out through your actions. When you come into this space, comes onto the pranam position, when your explosion and the growth is not interrupted, and the expansion of the vibration of your frequency and the breath, I want you to chant that Om as a line row without any interruption 3 times. You're not looking into anything. We're just the expansion and let the vibration in the throat celebrate the truth of your learning today. Breathing in. Another deep breath. Celebrate this constant expansion. any part of my cells are contracting, I'm expanding into the space of wherever is my life is stopped and stagnated. I'm releasing that boundaries and the bondage. Breathing in. Now I will come to the practice to nurture that seed, protect it from the elements like a baby. So I have given birth in this very moment to those seeds. I will revisit until it's time to have its own journey. Namaste. So we went through a gentle class and we came into a gentle realization about life. So now you understand this. Huh? Once you, doc- uh, I don't know what the science is these days. It's all changing. But now you're a grown-up person. Your journey in all levels. If you're holding the security of the seed and you're not expanding, then you have to revisit those areas to see what is have restricted you to your fullest capacity of being in that space of the being. Don't seek into the space of the sun. Be the sun. Let everybody else rotate around it. And you don't have to answer for little things that people don't misunderstand you. That's fine. Eventually they can't because your frequency and the energy of the matter is much more level of you even explaining them. So you will go through a transitioning period, suddenly feel that no longer the friends are there, no longer the people who kept telling you the story of your misery. The past is no longer there because energies feed energies. People who talk about your past, like any other insects who eat dead stories, dead cells, they just come because that is the frequency they are at. When your frequency is elevating and elevating and elevating, the journey becomes quite alone. And that's fine. That's fine. Because your frequency also will match frequencies of others. There are only earth people who will become the Lord of the earth. There are other people take birth in this earth, not just from the earth, but they bring the wisdom from the other extensions of our beings. And when there is the energy of that higher Christ consciousness, the angel, those things. So don't be in the place of getting bounded into the idea of the body, bounded into the idea of the security. It's okay. If you fail, it's even great about trying this because you have learned something amazing about yourself. Some people fail on the first go and then they hold that into their whole life story and a shadow, and they carry this shadow. And it's what you could feel in their voices, you could feel in their presence. Oh, this person has done this to be this person. People do things, people even don't know that they do things. And we have to move on and keep the practice happening. So you could see gently the practice is changing into more of a realization. And my love will always be there because you give me the chance to be there. You give me a purpose to serve. And we will reconnect as people again in person when time permits. Until then, my love to you and big hugs for you. Bless us, family, Darcy, beautiful, and Rebecca Deza, and Liz, and Maria and Sylvia. Talk to you all. Bye for now.